Right, welcome to this session of Ergonomics and Anthropometry, and just want to tell you that I'm using my camera to record this, the new camera, and welcome to the lesson. Okay. Now, there are a few learning points. What's the definition of ergonomics? What's the definition of anthropometry? Why ergonomics and anthropometry is important to be considered when you design products, and what are the considerations when using anthropometry tables when you design products. Now, introduction. Basically, things that look good and things that works well meant that it's comfortable for the user to use. So both of them come together and they form an important part of what we want to do. Now, how products and environments are designed. Ergonomics is the study of how people relate to the products and environment, and it is also known as human factors. Right, designers should understand ergonomics so that they can produce designs that are comfortable and safe to use. So you look at the things like bicycles, things like typewriter, things like keyboards. Okay, they have to be considered. Look at the cockpit in the aeroplane. Right, there are so many buttons, so many knobs. You have to press the right one in order for the plane to fly. So understanding these designs are important. Anthropometry is concerned with the size and proportion of the human body. It concerns with things like the height, the weight, the size of your hand. Later on there will be exercise that we want to get you guys to measure the size of your hand, just for understanding of how anthropometry measurements are taken. Ergonomes are skill model of people with flexible joints. Okay, they can be used to investigate the design and the lay size and the layout of the design. So later on, maybe in your project, we may be using one of these ergonomes to help you in your design. Alright, sitting down, standing up are common postures, and these are studied, and we have tables, and there are references to what is meant by standing up and sitting down, and there are tables there for you to refer to. Alright, designing for mass population. Designers sometimes take the mistake of designing things for a person of an average size. There's no such thing as an average person. Right? The average size in a population may not be the most common size because the distribution may be skewed to one side or may be negatively skewed. So either the positive or the negative skewed. It means that no such thing as an average person, although there is a mean, but the majority can be way off to one side. Right? Designing for the average size may mean that people who are much smaller or much bigger than average may not be able to use the product safely or comfortably. So what we can do is make products available in different sizes. So something like medium, large, extra small, extra large, extra large, okay? Or make them adaptable, so you have things like adjustable bands, flexible clips or whatever, so you can adjust for different people, for different sizes. Now, variation in populations. Okay, we have the average American man and woman is quite different from the average Asian men and women. So in terms of physiologically and psychologically, so things like if you design a market for Europe, or you're going to design something for the Asian market, they are different sizes. So you need to be very careful when you design for international market. They must be for international population. So you must take in consideration your anthropometry data. Alright, it has to be updated, and you must reflect the changes in lifestyle as well as diet. Okay, of course, the recent years, you know that Americans are putting on weight, so they're getting more and more obese. The extra large size then and now may be different. Right? In maybe 5 years more, you have to have increased the size of extra large. Okay, so you take in consideration of that. Now, design for wheelchair users. Estimated 400 million people worldwide have to cope with a physical defect, and 0.5 of these are wheelchair users. So you have to consider the physical condition where someone uses a wheelchair, the dimensions, the size, the constraint of being in a seated position and trying to reach buttons and levers and all that. So the size of the wheelchair itself will take up space. So you have to cater for things like opening of doors and whatsoever. Alright, so this is a typical table, male, female, shows the different size, the different dimensions that you need to consider, the height that the person can reach, the length where the person is going to reach a button without bumping into the table, or where the toe is going to bump. Okay. These are resources available for you, the websites you can actually go down and download. It gives you a very good chart of how doors can be opened by wheelchair users and how things can be accessed easily by wheelchair users. I'm going to give a little history of how ergonomics come into place. It actually started with Henry Dreyfus, his attempt to find the average American man called Joe and an average American woman called Josephine. And he first started off this set of drawings in 1955. The purpose is to fit your design to the maximum number of people. And that doesn't mean that if you fit an average person, it means it's a guarantee for success of design. Okay, it's not true. Right? The average human is a dangerous concept for designers to have, because there's no average people. Right? It's always good to consider the whole target range. Right? The limitations on the size, the capability, so that the maximum number of people can use them. Right? What is also known as ergonomics is also known as human factors, and we consider them in 4 areas: physiologically, alright, psychologically, the anthropometrics and ergonomics. Right? You talk about the human body, the human size, their responses, capabilities and limitations. Psychologically, talk about the mind, how the mind responds to external stimulus. If an arrow is going up, doesn't mean it's automatically that if I turn a knob, the value will keep going up. And so you cannot turn the thing knob and then expect the value to go down when the arrow is pointing up. Okay, so things like this treat your mind how to respond. Anthropometry is the physical measure, dimensions of how your body is going to be, right? And ergonomics is the relation between the environment and the user. Right? Some common myths or fallacies. The design is satisfactory to me doesn't mean that it is satisfactory to everybody. Right? What is satisfactory to the average person doesn't mean that it's suitable for everyone else. Right? The variability of human or people is so big that it can't possibly cater everything. So you have to perhaps designs for specific people. Like if you're designing for wheelchair, for Asian market, then it is of a certain size. Ergonomics is expensive, and products actually purchased on appearance, styling, and therefore these are not important. Ergonomics is not important. That's not true, right? A good, countable product will actually speak for itself and will actually increase your value in the market. Ergonomics is a good idea. I can always design something with ergonomics in mind. I can do it intuitively, and my common sense, I don't need experimental data or studies. That's not true. Alright, we always want to, after we test something, after we design something, we get people to test them. Alright, and in D&T, what we do is we just take 2 or 3 people, just have a feel of it, and see how they feel. Alright, you can get your teachers, get your workshop instructors, get your friends to test them and give them feedback to you. Right? Now, other areas of human factors, the environment in which the human function in, things like the climate, humidity, temperature. Okay, if the weather is too hot or the weather is too cold, then you put on extra clothing, and then that extra clothing will actually not enable you to function properly. They add bulk to your body. Alright, noise and vibrations. If you work in a noisy environment, you can't really focus. Alright, you can't focus, you can't operate the machine well, and then therefore it's dangerous. Vision and lighting, same. If it's very dark or very bright, you need special glasses. Alright, then how? Okay, you can't see properly and you can't work properly. Alright, so no matter how your design is, if it's not designed properly, it won't aid the human being in trying to do well. Organization or workflow. Now, if you have a messy table, no matter how you organize or how well your product is designed, right? If it's a very noisy, messy area, no matter how you do, alright, it's not going to work easy. Imagine a hot, kitchen. Okay, then how? Right, you must make sure the flow, the water, the oil, everything is placed properly so that work can actually be function and less accident will happen. Okay, now these are some other video resources that I'm going to make available to you. You can actually Google them and then look at them. These are from well-known American university. You have a look at them, and these are extra information. Okay, so I hope that you can actually look at them and have a understanding of how things are going to work out. Okay, that's the end of my lecture.